What's good, guys? It's midday, and I'm back again with another video teaching you guys how to scale to 50 and 100k per month by using lead generation systems. And in this video, I'm going to be breaking down the framework that Darren Lee uses to get his agency to 7 figures. Let's get into it. So Darren Lee, he is a podcast business strategist who cracked the code. That's the simplest way I'll put it. He offers to scale your business through content. But what makes Darren Lee special from the jump is that his positioning is very, very unique and very special to him. So he doesn't position himself as just a production business because he handles your content, yes, but he positions himself as someone who transforms your business. It transforms your business into a business rather than just a content agency. So, for example, an agency could say, "We'll edit your podcast and make it sound good, make it look good." What Darren Lee actually sells is not just the actual content side, but the whole business side of it as well. So he says, "We'll transform your podcast into the most powerful business asset." So this is a big jump from a lot of content agencies, as he's not positioning himself as someone that can make you really good content. He's positioning himself as someone that can make you a lot of money. And why this is important is, at the end of the day, the reason why people make content is for money. And instead of simply stopping at that one step of content, he dives further by saying he's going to make your business make money. So this is unique and what a lot of agencies don't actually focus on. And this allows him, and this justifies his prestige pricing method as well. So he has something that I like to call the anti-guru approach. So he doesn't promise overnight success or viral growth. He focuses on retention over reach, and he challenges industry norms like long intros, and he positions podcasting as long-term authority building, not a quick ROI. Treats podcasting as networking and social selling tools. So every ad follows this exact 5-step pattern. Okay, so number one is problem agitation with specific numbers. So his hook will be typically talking about something and he might put numbers behind it. Authority positioning through personal experience. So he'll relate to the audience, relate to his ICP through his personal experience. And then he reframes the reality. So he challenges their thinking, changes their thinking, and makes them see things in a different way. And number 4, he uses social proof with real client names and results. And number 5 is he qualifies. He qualifies people through a CTA and pre-filters prospects. So we'll get into more of this. We'll get into this in the next steps, and I'm going to break down each bit of his framework one by one. So number 1, his hooks. He has hooks like, why do most coaches stay stuck under 100k per month? You don't run a coaching business, you run a sales organization. I know your problem. You started creating long form content. Okay, so can you notice the pattern? He's not using generic hooks. These aren't hooks that you see on everyday businesses. I doubt you've probably seen, except from the 100k per month, I doubt you've probably seen these 2 hooks before. And these are just an example of 2 or 3 of his many hooks. He has about 15 to 20 different ads on, which is, side note, this is super Andromeda compliant. Him having all these super niche hooks, super Andromeda compliant, so you can tell that he and his team are up to date with the most recent Facebook updates. If you're not, I'm going to put a link to the video in the description, and there should be a tag coming up around now that gives you a link to one of my YouTube videos where I broke down the new Andromeda update. So he calls out specific revenue level or behavior, and he creates immediate self-identification, and he agitates a real pain point his audience feels. Now, the reason why this is super important is because he calls out the people that he wants to target. Okay, even though he's calling out pain points, he's still calling out people he wants to target, because people who have that pain point would be his ICP, because only a certain demographic people can feel this pain point. For example, I know your problem. You start creating long form content. Already creating long form content, he's already targeting who he wants. You don't run a coaching business, you run a sales organization. So again, coaching businesses, coaching clients. Most coaches stay stuck under 100k per month. Again, coaches, he's calling them out, and he's calling out a pain point as well, stuck under 100k per month. Super important, because it not only is he calling out his ICP, but he's also calling out a pain point and relating to them, which presents himself as someone that understands the problems that the prospects are going through. And this is super important, because you're not going to buy from someone who doesn't understand your pain. Yeah, and as I said, each hook targets different psychological states. The algorithm can match these to users based on their behavior patterns. Super important with the most recent updates. Positioning. Yeah. So why most people fail? As I said before, Darren Lee has a very unique positioning. He doesn't position himself as a guru. He does literally the opposite. He talks about his pain points and his position of where he was before, And he says, look, I ran my agency for multiple years. He positioned himself as a peer who's been where they are, but then he drops authority bombs. So he starts off by positioning himself as a peer, and then he shows you where he was before, but then where he is now. And this level of vulnerability and kind of relatability allows people to it builds trust essentially. So what this does is not only does it build trust, but it builds authority because okay, they trust where he is because he's being vulnerable, and he's also able to talk about where he is now. So he's been through it. They want to know. You want to buy from someone who's been in your experience. You're more likely to buy from someone who's been in your position and got out of it than someone who's never been in your position and is trying to tell you what to do. So he talks about his show rate is 75% and his close rate is 40%, and he's booking hundreds of calls in 2025. So this is peer-to-peer authority. He's not above them. He's just further along on the same path. This builds trust while establishing credibility. In every ad, Darren reframes the reality. Super, super important. He reframes the reality. You don't run a coaching business. You run a sales organization that coaches people. All that documentation you think is boring, that's intellectual property. He's not just selling a service. He's shifting the entire perspective on the business. This creates a aha moment that makes them see their problems differently. And once you reframe someone's reality, they can't unsee it. And not only can they not unsee it, they see you as the only possible solution. So next off, testimonials is social proof. So what he does, he uses real names. This is something that I advise people to do. A lot of people, a lot of coaches, a lot of business owners, they will use testimonials like, "Don't take my word for it. I had a client this, or I had a customer this, I had a student this." Look, this is really good. This is better than nothing, yes, but it's super, super dangerous because people can think that you're making it up. But I do understand that a lot of coaches, a lot of business owners do have a problem where people don't want their real names being put out there. People don't want to know. People don't want their business being put out on the internet. That's also a problem. So you can also offer things like incentives. Obviously nothing crazy, but within reason incentives. You can add it into the contract. Say if we're going to work with you, we need to be able to use you as a testimonial, etc. There's ways around it if you plan ahead on time. So, for example, he says stuff like Philip was creating content for his trading program. Sophia hit 100K a month in 3 months. Real names, specific industries, and exact timeframes isn't just social proof, but it's case study selling. Each story shows a different type of client getting results, which expands his appeal. And then lastly, it's a CTA. And Darren's CTA is super, super special. And I'll give you 2 examples. So before he raises CTA, he has a pre-qualifier. If you're at 30K a month and ready to extract all that knowledge, this is for people who are not beginners and who are serious about scaling. Now, this does 2 things which are super, super important. Okay. Number one is he filters out brokies and time wasters. How many, I'm going to triple, quadruple circle this because how many of you out there have a problem with brokies and time wasters into your funnel? If I had to say the number one complaint that I hear from sales calls and business owners is that there are too many brokies entering their system, entering their funnel. So by having a pre-qualifier in their CTA, it already makes it makes people who are broke or don't have the money feel like that this isn't for them, which is true. It's not for them. So it's gonna filter some of them out, and also time wasters. They're gonna realize this guy's really serious. He doesn't want to work with people that aren't serious about scaling. Doesn't want to work with people that are only I'm only making 5K, 10K a month. I can't work with him because he wants to work with people that are only 30K or more, for example. Super, super important. It brings you a higher quality of lead all through saying one sentence. Although it's not going to be perfect, and there's other things you can have in, like having an application form before people book a call, for example, pixel conditioning. It is just a start, and it helps with pixel conditioning and not pixel conditioning. It helps with pre-qualifying before people even enter the funnel. And number two, this is super important as well. He makes qualified prospects feel special and selected. The reason why this is important is because the reason why this is important is because what you want to do is you want to feel people feel good by working with you. You do want to you at the same time you want to tap into people's pain points. You want to make them feel a bit crap, but at the same time you want them to feel good. Okay, that's the key to it. It's about finding the right balance of making them feel good and bad at the same time. So most agencies want everyone to book a call, but Darren only wants the right people. So this is what makes Darren's system special. He's very confident, very happy with pre-qualifying people before they even enter the funnel. Now, this is something you can only do if you are spending a certain amount of money on your ads because it, if you're, for example, if you're someone that's spending $50 a day on ads and you're pre-qualifying in your CTA, you're you'll be lucky to get more than 5 leads a day, and let alone how many booked calls, maybe one booked call. So as I mentioned before, it's completely Andromeda compliant. Well, his hook varieties are targeted different psychological states, super important. He has real stories with specific details, super important as well. I don't know why the pen's not working. And then he has educational value that builds authority, super important. I'm just going to circle all of these. And then he has behavioral signal diversity. So he's targeting several different niche audience segments by having his super specific hooks. And that's what Andromeda wants you to have. That's what Meta wants you to have. You need to have, all your ads need to be super unique and super niche, super specific, because what they want to encourage is more unique, more creative testing, more their system can test a lot more ads against each other at the same time. So your ads are going to stand out if they're super niche. So yeah, as I said, the algorithm can match these ads to users based on where they are on their journey. Someone frustrated with content gets the content ads. Someone focused on sales gets the sales ads. So what this means is, if someone currently, if Facebook's picked up that someone's frustrated with their business, and let's say they're frustrated with how much they're making, then the one with the hook talking about you're stuck at XYZ 100k, you can't scale past 100k per month, they'll get that one. Let's say someone's stuck with, Meta picks up that someone's stuck with, Meta's picked up that a coach is stuck with posting lots of long form content and getting no sales. They'll get an ad that has a hook starting about you're posting lots of long form content. So that's the difference between Andromeda now. The creative is the targeting, if you don't know that by now. So the days of all the days of ads being reliant on your ability to target are gone. Nowadays it's more about your ability to copyright and script, and your ability to create strong creatives. So the barrier for entry to becoming good at ads is no longer about targeting, it's about how well you can script, record, film, and edit. Andromeda is something that's definitely would benefit. Andromeda is something that 100% benefits Darren. It's something that he's seen and he's realized, and he's probably smiled at, because he creates content and that's what he does. The content creators out there, the copywriters out there, they're all smiling, and they're all smiling because they become a lot more important. While the media buyers, the people that just run ads, they become less important. So it's super important you're able to adapt and become Andromeda compliant, not just with your ads, but in your business model as well. So what about further down the funnel? Right. So what else does Darren do that makes what else can we break down in this video that Darren does? So one thing that I picked up on as well is Darren does something called content nurturing, which is retargeting. He retargets with some of his educational reels, sends people to his Instagram. This familiarizes prospects with him and nurtures them. So he has an example from his ads manager. You can see it says here, visit profile. So what this is just a reel, and you can tell, yeah, it's a 1 minute reel where he's just educating people about their content, what they need to have on YouTube, Instagram, etc. And what this does is, as you know, in a trust session, you need seven hours of content, 11 touch points. Why this is super useful for Darren is because he has a lot of really good content. He's one of the kings of content. He knows how to do content really well. So what he can do here is he can nurture through his content, okay? And because he's advertising to people that do content, they will appreciate the quality of his content. So they're showing, so yeah, he said and has positioned himself as someone who does content, but it's another thing. And now they've seen his ad, or they've opted into his funnel, and now every time they go on Instagram, they're being spammed by lots of Darren's content. Now they're realizing for themselves that, okay, cool, this guy said he's the king of content, but now I'm seeing for myself that yes, he is the king of content. So what he does really well is retargeting with his content, and that's something that is super beneficial for him, and it's a good thing he does. He probably cleans up a lot, sends people to his IG. He probably has a setter in his IG who DMs everyone who follows, and then he nurtures them through there as well. So he has what I call an ecosystem when it comes to ads and content. Okay, so why this works so well is because on top of that, in his IG he has links to his YouTube. So in his YouTube, he has 84,000 subscribers. He has videos breaking down his complete system. He has like 3 hour course. He has several hours of course. So remember how I said someone needs 7 hours of content. One click on his, they watch one ad, they see another piece of content from an ad, they go on his IG, they click onto his YouTube, they watch a few hours of his YouTube. That's 7 hours, give or take, pretty much done within. That could be done within one day, within 24 hours. He can get someone from cold who doesn't know who he is all the way to ready to buy within 24 hours, which is a ridiculously short sales cycle. Typically, what you see is typically a 2 week sales cycle. But by Darren retargeting people to his IG and having content nurturing, he manages to reduce that 2 week sales cycle to something like to something just to just a few days. It's super, super important. And on top of this, he also has a link to his testimonials, YouTube testimonials page. So not only does he not only does he nurture through content and retargeting, what he also does is position himself as authority and backs his chat with a lot of social proof. So someone goes, so let me tell you the order of someone's path. So they've gone from an ad, they maybe opted into his funnel, might have got an email, maybe watched his VSL. Now they go back on their IG, they're retargeted by content from him and other ads. They click on his IG, they follow. They have a DM, they have a setter who DMs them and he's nurturing them through DMs. They go on his profile, they watch his YouTube, they watch some of his YouTube, they watch some of his testimonials. They've watched hours and hours of content within just 2, 3, 4 days. And it's almost a no-brainer to go to Darren now. If they're financially qualified and they are part of his ICP, it is literally a no-brainer to go to Darren. I don't see why someone would look at all this stuff and all of this proof and still think that I wouldn't go to Darren. So this is why his content works so well and why he's a genius and why he's managed to scale to 7 figures plus. Okay, so this is kind of his content ecosystem. So they go from paid ads to IG, then IG maybe to YouTube, then from YouTube back to IG. They can go IG to the funnel, paid ads straight to the funnel. Essentially, there's a route here that can go across and it can go back down to the funnel. It's not just some people think that, oh, I'm gonna run ads and this is how it works. Paid ads straight to the funnel, and that's all some people are running, which is dangerous, super dangerous. Okay, dangerous because you're gonna get loads of leads coming in. You may get loads of leads coming in, but you're not gonna get any people closed. You're gonna be thinking, well, how am I getting so many leads? I've had 100 leads this month, no one's closed. And because you're not running, your ecosystem is too simple. There's not enough touch points. There's not enough hours of content being digested. But with Darren's ecosystem, this 7 hours of content, 11 touch points can be done within a matter of a couple days, and that's what makes his system so special. So he uses podcasts to connect to people. He uses podcasts to connect with successful entrepreneurs and thought leaders. He turns the conversations into mentorships, partnerships, and direct business opportunities. He creates a magnet effect where the podcast naturally attracts ideal clients. He emphasizes trust and authenticity over traditional marketing tactics. So if you thought, okay, cool, he's killing it with ads. He's got a whole content ecosystem and organic ecosystem through YouTube and IG as well. So from as you can tell, as you can tell, it. So as you can tell, Darren is super super dialed in when it comes to content. He's dialed in when it comes to paid ads. He's dialed in when it comes to organic content. You can't miss it. Once the beautiful thing about Darren's ecosystem is once you end up on any of them, whether it's his IG, YouTube, or paid ads, you're into his ecosystem. I guarantee you, if you click on one of his IG posts or come across one of his IG reels, you are probably going to be retargeted with some of his ads after, either on purpose by Darren's team or by Meta. I guarantee if you come across his YouTube as well, you probably will end up seeing one of his reels. You probably will see one of his paid ads on Meta. That's the beauty of it, and that's why he's able to generate so much for his content. He puts so much thought, effort into his content, and the beautiful thing about it as well, he mentions this as well, is that his landing pages almost become his profiles become almost like landing pages. He has links in his profiles to other places where they can get nurtured, on his IG, on his YouTube, and people can go through to other places and book a call. Almost like he has almost like mini VSLs throughout the place. He's super super dialed into content. There's not many people out there who are as dialed in as Darren when it comes to content. Okay. So how I would improve it, Darren's ecosystem is practically perfect, but it's not there yet. And here's how I would prove it. It's one word and it's retargeting. Okay. I believe that Darren could go harder in retargeting. One thing that he could do is put some more clips of his testimonials in there. He's not didn't see any clips of his testimonials when I was going through his funnel. He may already do that, but retarget people with his testimonials, super important, because people may just watch paid ads. They may not even go to his funnel. They may go to his funnel, but they may not go to his IG. There's nothing to say that he can't do all of his. You can't compress some of his ecosystem into paid ads. Retargeting is fairly cheap compared to running ads to cold. No reason why you can't run clips of his testimonials as paid as retargeting. I would put more organic content being used as retargeting. I did see some. I saw, I think, maybe three. I don't see why you can't have 20, 30, 40 pieces of content being used as retargeting. Sounds crazy, sounds like a lot, but it's really not. There's guys out there doing this on a daily basis, especially guys that are scaling, especially if you're scaling to seven figures. 20, 30, 40 pieces of content isn't too much to do. And more objection handling videos. And I know, I believe that in some of his posts, he does talk about his content has objection handling, but he needs to be more intentional with it. So what you could do, you don't have to send this to everyone, but maybe anyone who's booked a call, anyone who's become a lead, I would send more objection handling videos to anyone who's further down this funnel, maybe middle funnel, bottom of funnel, if you don't want to spend too much. um get all those objections handled, get all those limited beliefs handled before people end up on a sales call, just for that extra nudge. So when people end up on a sales call, you're going to clean up because they're already fully familiar with him. So your sales teams are not going to be complaining that the sales calls are educational calls, because people are already familiar with who Darren is and what he does. They're not gonna have to handle loads of objections and deal with loads of and deal with loads of no closes, because again, objection handling has already been done. His sales team are going to be able to clean up and sweep up, and he's going to have a high percentage of close rates, probably higher than what he already has now. So essentially, this is the full ecosystem that Darren Lee uses to scale his agency to seven figures plus. If you'd like to see how I would apply a similar framework to your business and help you scale to 6 and 7 figure months, click the link in the description, book a call with me, and I'll see you there.